What's up, family? This is Dr. Baruch of the E-Life Power Lunch with Dr. Baruch and Chris Murray. And we are here inside of the E-Life Media Studios in Capitol Heights, Maryland, inside of the E-Life Restaurant. Some of you know it as Everlasting Life Restaurant. And we are accompanied by our young engineer, Baruch, who is coloring all over people's clothes, but it's all good. He is making it happen over there. You might hear him every once in a while in the background. Just a couple of things I want to put into your hearing. Everlasting Life and E-Life is all about doing what we can for the community. So when we established E-Life, the media network, and this whole studio, televised radio studio, what we decided we would do is we would bring people that we think you needed to learn more about in so that you could learn more about them. But likewise, we wanted to attract people in our audience who would be interested in seeing and being exposed to some of these great people. So that's what's going on today. We've got some really good stuff happening in the DC metropolitan area. And today we are interviewing a brother by the name of Ben Ellis. Sounds real, historic, like Ben Ellis.
Yes.
How you doing, Brother Ben?
I'm doing great. I'm
Great.
excited. Happy to be here.
Great.
To be here.
That's what's up. That's
Yes.
what's up. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Ben Ellis?
Well, first and foremost, I'm a husband and a father first. That's before anything else. I was born in Washington, D.C., raised nearby in Clinton, Maryland. HBCU graduate from North Carolina A&T, military veteran. So all around, just a humble guy.
Okay, well that's what's up. That's what's up. That's great, and great to have you here. And you have taken on the art and also the charge of putting your thoughts onto paper in the form of a book.
Yes, sir.
The Millennial Initiates.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, Millennial Initiates, I thought of that title because as I look at the rising generation, the millennials, the post-millennials, what we see in our generation are people who aren't necessarily going with the status quo, people who are reaching back to our spiritual roots, reaching back and looking up these ancient African principles, things of the sort, and sort of finding our light within. And I liken it to the ancient Kemetic initiations where you had students, neophytes, who would attend the mystery schools and they would learn from the masters. They would learn to come to know thyself. And that's what I see what's going on present day. And so I wanted to write a book highlighting the ancient Kemetic principles and how these things can be used present day in 2019 and beyond.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Now, the ancient Kemetic principles, is this something that you were taught as a child, or is this something that you took on after military, researching and making these connections?
Yes, researching, and there were lots of brothers before me who've kind of inspired me. Folks such as Dr. Ra and the Fireman, George James, who wrote Stolen Legacy, people like that who kind of highlighted these principles as some time ago, and I'm just kind of reintroducing these things into the forefront in the 21st century. So I grew up a Christian. The ancient Kemetic philosophy was foreign to me up until about maybe 3-4 years ago. I've always kind of had a fascination with ancient Egypt, but once I really started doing my research and finding out more about it, it really just kind of sparked within me. So, yes.
Okay. And you said that you're seeing again the millennial is kind of going in just his own direction. He's
Yes.
kind of deciding, okay, I'm going to do this. It's interesting because I think the reason why it seems such a stark thing, like these millennials are doing this new and different thing, and they're not. That's the reason why so many of them sometimes kind of find themselves in situations because they're just not wanting to do what everybody else is doing. And I can remember, and I can understand it. I can understand why, because you look at how we're being portrayed. You look at what our lives can be, would be, will be, and probably is. For many of us, it's we should desire something different. Unfortunately, some of us are going high, some of us are going low.
Very true.
And I'm inspired to know that, you know, there are those that are shining the light on the path so that they can find a way, you know, because some of us, it takes an experience. And I can remember, I grew up in Washington, D.C., Southeast.
Okay.
And I can remember it took an experience for me to decide, okay, I don't want that.
Right.
I don't want that to be my end. I don't want that to be what happens to me. So I'm going to do something different. And it's, you know, it's great and inspiring to know that you took it upon yourself to do the research and then to produce a manuscript, you know, of this sort. But what I'd like to do is I want to find out how this is shining that light on the path for not only millennials, but, you know, anybody. Tell us about that. How is that going to, you know, give us, what kind of exposure, what kind of intellect, what kind of inspiration is it going to give us, you know, to do something other than what we're already doing?
Well, I think as far as how it can bring that about, you know, you look at some of these ancient principles, things like the story of Asar, things like the Hermetic principles and such, and we see how, you know, these things can apply in our daily lives, whether it's what we choose to put in our body. We're in E-Life restaurant right now, Everlasting Life, and, you know, you have folks going vegan, you know, eating to live, loving their cells, things like that, and, you know, really, in the conscious efforts to do so, one might not think it, one might not even be aware of ancient Kemetic principles, but in doing so, you're actually aligning yourself with your higher self. You're choosing not to succumb to your lower self,
right.
the cravings, the sensations for a piece of steak or something like that. You're choosing, like, no, I want to do what's good for my body, what's going to help fuel me, rather than what's going to, you know, turn my body into a tomb, so to speak. So,
Sure.
things like that, and throughout the book, I touch on various things going back to ancient Kemet. I touch on, you know, the Hermetic principles, cause and effect. That's a huge one. Mentalism, things like that, and, you know, it all really boils down to having this knowledge of self and recognizing our oneness with all of mankind and all of nature, and doing right by that internal light within, rather than, you know, just succumbing to everyday norms just because, okay, society says, you know, go to work, get off work, go to happy hour, things like that, when you understand that that's not in your best interest, things like that. That's sort of what it means to be aligned with your higher self.
Mm-hmm. That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff, and it's important that we understand that this change and this desire that we have, for ourselves, this higher expectation that we should have of ourselves, is what all of this is all about. You know, it's what we built here. It's why we built this. Is so that we could give a platform to people who decided, okay, we're gonna go a step up, you know, or maybe a couple steps up.
Right.
And so I appreciate the work that you've done. And for those who'd be interested in getting a copy of your book, how could they get it?
For the best value, you can get a copy of my book at culturallyshifted.com. That is my wife and I's business website, Culturally Shifted. The book is also available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble Nook, Lulu Marketplace, Apple App Bookstore, and Kobo and things. So, but for the best value, visit culturallyshifted.com. For anyone who is familiar with selling products, things like that, using e-commerce, there are fees and things associated with some of the other platforms. So for the best value, you can head right to the source, right to culturallyshifted.com, and we much appreciate your support.
Mm-hmm. And how are things going with the sales of the book? When did it come out?
Published the book on October 10th, 10/10, and thus far we're doing some sales. We're doing pretty good so far. I think total so far we're maybe around about 25 sales so far.
Okay.
But things are going good. We're picking up steam.
Are you speaking so that you can bring attention to some of the information that's in the book, you know, and maybe even targeting populations of people where you might be able to create somewhat of a guide or a workbook that allows people then to maybe do some research into the book and then fill in answers or things of that nature, where you can make the book of more value to the consumer by giving them that, you know, kind of that additional piece.
Yes. I think there is a lot of value for the consumer within this book, not only from the ancient stories and philosophies that are in the book, but also from the things I've mentioned, things like eating to live, things like conquering the vice. I even talk about relationships, love, things like that. And so I think for everyone, there is value to be gained from this book. You know, I wouldn't want to put out something to where, you know, it's just the same old, so to speak. I wanted to make sure that I put together something that would really add value to the community and to society, and I think I was able to do that. And so I think those who read it, I think they will, as they turn the pages and let the words flow, I think they will find something that maybe they hitherto were unaware of, and you know, maybe it'll spark something within them to research more. And I also provided some resources in the back of the book, some books that help guide me along my journey, things like that. So there's a lot of meat, so to speak.
Sure. That's what's up. And you know, you should consider maybe setting up here at the restaurant. You know, we get a good flow of customers, people that would be interested and inclined to engage in something like this. And we could also maybe bring you in to have you do a lecture or just a book signing.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
So let's look into that. Again, I appreciate the work that you've done. I appreciate you taking time to come on our station to share with our audience what it is that you've done, and prayerfully you and the viewing and listening audience will patronize our brother and support the work that he's done so that he can grow and build this up. And hopefully this won't be your last writing.
No, not at all. Not at all.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Again, we've had Brother Ben Ellis on today. Is there anything you'd like to say before we close out? Did I miss any opportunity, anything to contact, any way to contact you, any of that you want to share?
Yes, if you'd like to reach out to find out more information, you can email me at info@culturallyshifted.com. Again, you can visit the website, culturallyshifted.com, and you know, you can follow me on Instagram at BQ_Ellis. Also follow the brand Culturally Shifted on Instagram and Facebook as well. And I appreciate the support. And if you're in the DMV and you're a fan of natural hair, definitely be sure to check out my wife's page as well, at Sky Newman. She's an awesome natural stylist here, and she will definitely help you come to love yourselves and love your hair.
Great. That's what's up. Again, we've been interviewing Ben Ellis. He's talking about his book, The Millennial Initiates. Come on through and check it out, and come on through and check him out. Please share, post, comment, like, subscribe, so that you can learn more about what it is that we're doing. Always, you'll always be tuned in and tapped in, and you'll be exposed to all the great people that we bring in here. Just to give you a heads up, we've got Brother Imhotep coming to the D.C. metropolitan area on the 9th of November. He's going to be coming here to speak here at the Everlasting Life. And we also have a really big announcement. And I would hold you and make you wait until after the commercial break, but I won't do that to you. I'm going to let you know what's going on right now. We have got a group of people that are going to come to Everlasting Life and talk to us about vaccination. And vaccination is big, because you can do all the good eating you want, you can do all the exercising you want, you can be just as healthy as you want to be. But if you let somebody inject something into your body and you don't know what it is, and you've seen other people end up with stuff that they don't know where this came from, and you're not suspicious, especially after looking at institutions that are on record for not looking out for your best interests, then something might need to be readjusted. So I appreciate you all, and we look forward to sharing more great information and people with you. Stay tuned for more great programming right here on the E-Life Media Network. Again, my name is Dr. Baruch, and this is the E-Life Power Lunch with Dr. Baruch and Chris Murray. Talk to you soon.